Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Cone Dodger here. Welcome back to Automation, the car company tycoon game. We are working our way through the Lite campaign still. It is January 1st, 1980, with our company Vanity. Times they are a-changin'. We're having to completely refresh our model lineup as leaded fuels have become illegal in our main markets. So the Magnet and Roscoska will both be seeing their demise immediately. Go ahead and cancel production on them now. In fact, yes I would, and yes I would. So that we can sell off those remaining units before the ban hits. And those poor suckers will be left with a car that they won't be able to get fuel for much longer. However, that means we need to replace not only our top-of-the-line car, the Roscoska, but also our bottom-of-the-line car, the Magnet. So that'll be quite a thing to try and do. To review our lineup, we have the Truffle, which is a people mover van slash utility vehicle. It is still doing really well. It is profiting very strongly, 64 million per month, I believe, and a 1.6 billion total profit. The Hewitt is somewhere in the middle sports category. It is a coupe and convertible that is selling okay and doing a decent profit. It's no knock it out of the park winner, but it's a good stable car for us. The newest edition, the Spud, will be ready in 1982, which is, I honestly don't remember and I need to review, which is, I'll get back to it, don't you worry. Right, it is kind of the sports coupe, which had the markets of family sport and fun premium, sport budget, that kind of stuff. These look funny now that we have the base price way higher than it actually is, but it is your all-around sports car. Kind of on top of and fighting for the same audience, if we can get back there, as the Hewitt. The Hewitt is near end production though, so I'm not too worried about that interaction there. The Spud uses the Hewitt's factory. I do believe possibly it uses the Roscoskas. Possibly. I don't remember. I know I had to fix this after last episode. I came back and fixed it because I had assigned the Spud to the Hewitt's factory when I think I meant to assign it to the Roscoskas. I'll wait till 1981 to start a new car, but we'll have to review all of that fun stuff. But let's get to 1981 with an economy that's pretty flat at the moment. It's on a downward in the premium luxury categories, but there's no major drama going on right now. And the budget continues to climb slowly, so we do need to replace that Magnet quite soon. Well, let's get through 1980 first. Alright, so we end 1980, and we have ourselves pretty good stats here for 1980. 206,000 cars sold, slightly lower than we have been doing, but the Truffle continues to keep the wind in our sails. Reputation climbs, prestige climbs, and a $776 million profit this year. Not shabby. The economy looks like budget up again. Luxury down again. Premium down again, but we're just getting under 1. So, again, things are not bad. Things are not bad by any means. We just have to keep an eye on this and make sure it doesn't completely bottom out, which it very well could, and we've seen it do that before. It could go as low as 0.5. It could go even lower than that. You just don't know. We'll just have to see, and it's a global market thing. Even the newer markets, Fruinia and Arcana, are kind of on the decline as well. We are now selling some vehicles in Fruinia, very few, but some truffles are making it over there and selling, which is nice. Awareness, let's look at awareness in Gazmea. We're mostly known for our sports stuff right now. Sport, fun, muscle, sport budget, convertible sport. The utility stuff, sure, we sell a crap load of those, but there's so many of those sold overall that it's kind of hard to make an impact in that market. Markets on the incline, the light sport budget stuff, the track's premium, the track regular, all this is very new. Obviously, this stuff is on the incline because, well, it didn't exist before. Utility sports on the incline, which is great because the truffle sells pretty well there. Everything else kind of hurting at the moment, as expected with a market that is downturning in a way in luxury regards. But there's no, I don't think there's any danger here. I'm surprised to see city declining, city budget on the increase, pony budget on the increase a little bit. So I'm thinking we definitely need to replace the magnet. Let me start with that and see what we could do there. Okay, last 10 years, and let's look at the hatchbacks. This one's got a very small, is that the same? No, surely it's not, because the magnet was pretty old, so there's no way that's the same car that the magnet was. I believe this is even smaller, to be honest. That, I think, is what the magnet was on, possibly. Possibly. Which doesn't look as small now. This, I guess, yeah, it's a little bit smaller. But let's try for this guy. Let's see what I can do with it, styling-wise. Not a ton as of right now. But definitely want to keep a little bit of 80s in it. Don't want to go too 90s looking just yet, because otherwise the cars we make in the 90s are going to look a little dated. Alright, so this one's going to be an exercise in how cheap can I make it. Let's go transverse. And McPherson, semi-trailing arms, probably the cheaper, just because, where is cost? Is that something that's really in here? I thought it was, but maybe not. Production units are lower with the torsion beam. It's very low. I have 10% familiarity with it, probably from the previous magnet, so that'll be alright. Alright, let me do a little bit of styling with this thing. Let's see, it's 81, probably for the 82 or 83 markets. Alright, trying to pull off the square headlights on this thing, and it's working out okay. Let's see if we can make it look a little bit more interesting up front, though. Obviously, we need some indicators. But is there anything else I could do to try and interest this up a bit? A lot of times, in very economy cars like this, you'll see manufacturers make different body elements to visually make them look sportier, even though they have nothing sporty about them. And, I mean, it doesn't work on real enthusiasts, I don't believe. But I believe the average car buyer is quite fooled by such things. I certainly see enough people flocking to the sportiest looking crappy hatches as possible, even if they're the worst car. That's just a weird buyer's thing. I'm not sure. I keep looking at this and I'm not sure about it. How about the one with the fake opening? Oh, this one just goes that way. Now, where's the one with the opening? Is that this one? No, that's the one I had. It's this one. I mean, is that too much? Yeah, I think that's too much. I'm just gonna go for the gentle bubble in the hood to make it look like we just packed so much engine under the hood here, we needed more space. Classic DSM style, right? This car body is not accepting any funny business with the taillights, so I'm gonna have to go pretty standard with them, I do believe. No funny business allowed. I'm still hurting for taillights in this game, I think. I wanted funny business, and gosh darn it, I'm gonna get my funny business. How about a lip spoiler under the rear window? That looks ridiculous. I like it. Just need to put in a license plate cutout. I used to have some mods in here that gave you actual license plates. Don't think I have that anymore, though. Let's put that right between the lights. No cutout tailpipes. This one would just have an under tailpipe. It is now into the 80s. We definitely need side indicators on here. So we'll put some real cheap, simple ones on it. Alright, she's looking pretty goofy and should be effective styling-wise. Hopefully it will look better once we get it out of this obnoxious red color. And put it into this weird olivey green color. No. Silverish kind of blue, that works better for it. I like it. Alright, transverse front wheel drive. I've done a lot of work on the body and stuff of this car for a concept I'm not even 100% sure is going to work yet. Definitely need an engine for it, and we'll stick with our inline 3. I believe I did it in cast iron last time. Pretty sure. I'm going to do nothing terribly interesting with it. I have another project today that will be more interesting, so I'll kind of breeze through this one. Alright, initial build, 67 horsepower, 69 foot-pounds of torque. Reliability through the roof, 59 reliability. Let's see if we can't squeak a little bit more economy out of this thing, though. I believe I can lean it out some. And apparently when I said some, I actually meant a whole bunch, because we're down to 14.1. Let's see, yeah, 13 is not amazing economy. It's not bad, but it's not amazing. The amazing thing is that reliability, that's for sure. What is it that's really hurting us as far as the economy goes? I'm not 100% sure. I mean, I could take some cam profile out of it. Alright, got us up to 15.35 on the economy, 74 foot-pounds, and 60 horsepower. Those are pretty good numbers for what is going to be a very, very light car. It was actually the exhaust system that I was screwing up on. I had a, like, 2-inch diameter. We only needed 1 inch. There is where we were getting our performance loss. Take that, racers. Too big of exhaust is no good for you. Let this be a lesson to you. Alright, let's stick with that engine. This is definitely still going to be the Magnet. And it'll be the Magnet Mark II. And we want this to be the, I don't know. What's a catchy phrase for the 80s? Had Eco really taken on in the 80s? I don't think it had. Ooh, for some reason the word hyper really rings the 80s to me, so this is going to be the Hyperlite. Man, that'll get the buyers in. And this is our new our inline 3, so tiny. I don't even see how many cc's the thing actually was. Alright, I'm about to hit passive, and you know what passive means. It means we're about to get our initial scores. Alright. 2 plus 100 scores. That's okay. I suspect it's probably going to be a little overpriced for market. However, I suspect it will be so much better of a car that we'll be able to get around that. I obviously need to do tuning on everything still. We don't even have enough gearing in it yet. There we go. And other than that, 0 wheel spin, but a 12.90 to 60. Is there any way we could improve upon that? Currently we're hitting 60 in 3rd gear. We could space that to be like right at the end of 3rd gear. Gets us down to 12.3. Or we could space it to be at the end of 2nd gear, which would be way worse. Never mind of that. Seems like this 12.4 range is about the best it'll do. It's got very small, not grippy tires on it, so that's to be expected, for sure. Alright. Yeah, I went with the hard, long life, 14s. That's as wide as they will go on this size, that's fine. Brakes-wise, looks like we are a little over-braking, so we can save some money there. I couldn't get the 1 pistons to have quite enough, even with vented discs. So we'll just adjust these down. And then the rear drum, barely even need drums back there to do anything, to be honest. Which is fine, because that will save us money, and we need to save money for sure. Cooling-wise, well, I think we were right on the money, actually. Yep, sure was. Interior-wise, 4 seats doesn't score quite as good as 5 seats. Basic scores better than standard. Basic 8-track versus none. Oh, might be none. Yeah, that really helps in the budget areas. Power steering, it's kind of a necessity and not that expensive. How about basic versus standard? No, they prefer the standard. Much prefer the advanced, but don't quite think we have the budget for it on the car. Suspension tuning, I'd like it to be... well, let's make sure it's comfortable. So no bottoming out. Alright, no bottoming out. And then a little bit of extra dampening up front to smooth that out, and did good. We could potentially get it to be a little bit sportier. Real fine lines with all of this, but that's about the best we could do. Gas monotube costs a little bit of money, makes it more comfortable. Let's go for the cheaper option. I want to see how cheap I can make this, because I've really struggled to make cars that are extremely cheap. Market analysis, 6,100 is still about 2,000 more than what I see in like the pool of cars that are in the game that are in this kind of category. So I have no idea, well, I have some ideas, but I have no idea how to make a successful, very cheap car. We're pretty successful as of right now, and this is a car that I would say would sell at like a 20% markup and just sell a bunch of them. So we have 3 categories there that are above 100: commuter budget, family sport budget, and pony budget. But it also does well in, say, city eco and city. Let's see, commuter it does very good. Fun it does pretty good. Family utility budget. So yeah, there's other areas this car could do well in. But I think it's really important that we have this car in our arsenal, even if it's not a super huge big seller. And it will cost next to nothing to make. Already just 1 year and 11 months to engineer it. Match those up, 1 year and 11 months. Oh, I guess I made it 12 months, didn't I? Well, let's bring it down to 11. There we go. So now we've gotten even more reliability out of it. We have the truffle and the magnet canceled. The old truffle factory is still floating around. That is a medium car factory. We also have the one from the old magnet, which is going to be for this car. So car large and engine large. So we don't have to buy any plots. That's good. We probably want the large factory. Probably don't need the large 3. That's a pretty steep difference in price. So let's go for the large 2 to begin with. And for the engine, a large 1, because it's a super simple engine. Engines made per day 1,100. Yeah, we don't even really, probably don't even really need the large 1, do we? That's only 627. That's okay. I guess we could just, yeah, not make as many, fewer shifts there, but we crank this and be very good on engines. That's good. Alright, so we'll say we'll make 3, or have a 3 shift. That actually hurt us cost-wise, so we'd have to only do like a 10% markup on it. That's tricky. It's very tricky because that's riding such a fine line. How does it show market analysis on that? That's not the demand that I was hoping for sure. Ooh, yeah, that's really bad. That is really bad. It's not disastrous, but I'd say I got some work to do here. Alright, I did make some changes here in the way the car is built, and that is converting it to an automatic transmission. That was one of the big things. Even smaller wheels, tires, as well as... what was the last thing that I did? Oh, advanced safety as well. So since we weren't able to go as cheap as it seems people wanted, I decided to try and boost some stats. Actually, I'm going to do that too, to make the car just perform better. make it a more attractive car. We've lost some sportiness in this thing somewhere down the line. So I was able to increase those scores as well by giving it a little bit more sportiness. So now we're scoring much better across the board. Just all the way around. And that's the thing that I think was hurting it before, is it wasn't scoring good in enough categories. Not that it wasn't scoring great in one. Alright, so now if we look at the market analysis, there we go. Now things are looking better. At 3 shifts, many as we could possibly make, which is a bunch, 21,000, we would still have demand of 2.16 at a 10% markup. So we could go to maybe 30% markup. And then that gives us a break even that's only 3 years out instead of, a decade out. And this is a car sold at such a small margin that I think the what was I trying to say? Oh, right. The break-even point is probably always going to be further down the road than other cars. The project budget, I'm not sure why it is exactly so high at 1.5 billion. Let me review factory stuff here. All right, so we are using existing plots for sure. We are building a large one, that's 371 million. And a medium 3, that's 206 million. I'm not 100% sure why exactly it's costing so much. We did not buy anything. Yeah, I don't know exactly why this one's so expensive. I guess there's some engineering costs in there. I'm not working on it, so there's more engineering costs on like the engine and such. But overall, it's kind of a mystery to me. A little bit of a mystery. Total engineering cost, 49 million, 93 million. Yeah, I just don't see... I don't see 1.5 billion worth of money here. Unless I'm just totally missing something. Oh, that's just tooling cost. Total cost. Okay, that's where I was screwing up. Gotcha. I knew there had to be a place I was screwing up, but I was seeing tooling cost instead of total build cost. So that's 500 million. That's 944 billion, or million, not billion. So there you go. We need the steel presses. So it's that tool quality that's actually what's costing us so much money. So if I chilled out on those, which I could even chill out on the engine even more because we're outputting more than necessary. Let's see, that would be 700, 696. So we'll bring that right to 700. 3, 2.2. All right, well, that should still be a number that's much more feasible, right? We're down to 1.2 billion. That's certainly better. A break even, that would be 25 months out. All right, feeling good, feeling good. I was able to get our grand total under a billion, 901 million. That's far better. And now we have a break even of May 1985. That's only 18 months out. This is good. And that picture will probably get better if the economy continues to grow in the budget category, which it very well could. It didn't go fantastic for us in the first go of the magnet, but second time around could be the one. All right, let's sign off on that. And now we have ourselves 2 cars in engineering. So I'm going to play through until 1982. In fact, I'm going to go through until October. I guess I'll wait for the Spud so that I'm available and I can engineer on an engine for a replacement for the Roscoska. Okay, a lot going on here. Let's keep track. All right, we end 1981. 171,000 cars sold. That's less than the previous year again. Reputation actually took a little bit of a drop as we stopped making our most prestigious vehicles. Well, that was incorrect. Don't listen to what I just said. Our reputation dropped because I'm not making the most reputable vehicles anymore. Our prestige is still increasing. People do seem to still like the Hewitt and the truffle as far as prestige goes, but very incremental there. Extremely incremental changes. 553 million. Not bad considering the engineering of 2 vehicles. The economy is actually picking up a little bit again, a little bit of a spike back up. Budget continues to remain flat, which is fine. At least there's no disasters going on there, and really budget's one of those categories that's never going to completely go away, I think. I hope. Let's hope so. Okay, it is October 1982. The Spud just hit production, and as of now, it is selling like crazy. Or looking like it's going to sell like crazy. At max shifts, it looks like we are selling way more than we can produce, which means I guess the only option... No. We're actually... We could back off on that price a little bit. Okay, that's fine. That is absolutely okay. I got a little excited, but it was the other way around. Let's give it a month. Let's play through the end of the month here at normal speed, just so I can see what it's doing. And we'll start November 1st on the new car. Alright, so yeah, we had a pretty big stock develop of those cars initially. Just off the initial run. But 36% markup at full shifts to have the demand met. Those are good values. Alright, and now I think it is my job to make ourselves a little bit of a new Halo car. So previously, the Roscoska was a muscle car. It's the 80s now. The muscle category has been, in general, kind of faltering. The supercar, hypercar, track car kind of stuff has started to come online. Let's see if we can do something in that neighborhood. What kind of supercar bodies do we have? We did the Porsche thing already. We've done that, and we didn't actually go very supercar at all with that. We have these twins. Yeah, like the Lotus-style body. That could be interesting. That could be very interesting. I have no idea what the difference is between these two. Yeah, and that's last 10 years, right? I don't know when exactly that came online. What is this body? I don't think I've seen that one. That might be our next car. Anyway, back to this. Yeah. Let's see. We're going to be swinging back a little bit to the theme of the last career playthrough, last campaign playthrough I did with the Vector Automotive Challenge. But let's see if we can make ourselves a little bit of an 80s track car that is mass market sellable to some degree. For this guy, we're going to go monocoque steel, mid-transverse, double wishbone, steel. We're not going full exotic. Like I said, I want this to be mass market sellable still. Alright, so seriously now, if you can't find love for this thing, then I'm not sure we can be friends. Because this thing looks like it belongs on the cover of a Need for Speed game. Does it not? And I'm not talking like the new crappy ones. I'm talking like the old, good Need for Speed games. Because I am quite pleased with what is going on here. The only thing I'm regretting is this. Let's change that to just black. There we go. Perfect. I like it. I like it a lot. Let's see if we can actually make it a car that's sellable. I have no idea. We're going to go crazy. Things are going to be different about this engine. We're going to be looking to get familiar in things we have never gotten familiar in before, including a flat plane V8 with an aluminum dual overhead cam, block, and head with 4 valves per cylinder. I'm making this bold claim now, but there's a possibility we won't be able to do this. But we're going to find out. Let's go for smaller displacement. Thinking somewhere, yeah, 3.3 liters would be good. I'm thinking somewhere in like the 300 horsepower range for this guy. That's what I'm aiming for. And I'm hoping to do it with a naturally aspirated, just high-tech, multi-point fuel injection, performance intake, twin intakes, premium fuel, real good NA build here. Let's see what we can do. We're going to be limited in RPM a little bit, but it should be a pretty good Little screaming engine. Let's go for tubular headers. Like I said, we're doing different here. Yeah, that should be more than enough. Three-way catch, straight through muffler, no second muffler. 221 horsepower, not exactly what I was hoping for. But have no fear. Have no fear, because we still have tons of compression left in this thing, and I can certainly put more cam in it. Not too much cam, because we, like I said, bottom end issues are going to be an issue. So, just compression, compression, compression. 10.5 to 1 gets us to 237 horsepower. I think we're going to end up giving it a bit more displacement. We have the room in the car to do it, so let's go to like 3.5. We're up to a 254 horsepower mark, which isn't terrible, but I would certainly like a little bit more. Very fuel efficient engine, 14.4. But like I said, if we're going to go with all this crazy stuff, we should be at least getting somewhere near 300 horsepower out of it. Alright, that's a number I'm a little bit more comfortable with. 296 horsepower, 267 foot-pounds of torque, lots of high-end power right up there at the 6,500 mark, 6,800 RPM rev limit, a reliability of 41. That's actually a lot better than I was expecting, to be honest. I think we all want to hear this thing, don't we? Yes, we did. Gosh, that flat plane V8 still sounds fantastic. Okay, then. Alright. This is the flat plane V8. And this is the kind of the test bed for us, so I'm going to name it that. It's getting us familiarity in things that we want familiarity in for future normal cars. So now we have a great looking body and a pretty cool engine. Can we make this a car that's sellable? That is the question. Okay, here we go. Passive. Alright, alright. I like the way that looks so far for a car that's like stab, 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 kill you, kill you, kill you so far with the oversteer. 101.93 on sport. Those are pretty good numbers. In a category that doesn't sell anything, but still are very good numbers. Alright, now for the fun challenge of getting this thing to not be a car that stab, 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 kill, kill, kill. We have a new option here with a geared LSD. However, because it's so new, it's extremely expensive. And we're already doing a lot of crazy things with this car, so I'm going to hold off on that. We'll save that for another car on another day. Tire-wise, I could put more stagger in it. Let's try and keep as much tire on it as we can, though. Brake-wise, we're actually pretty good brake-wise already. Pretty much nailed that on the head. That is surprising. We're getting a bit of fade. Rear vented discs would help that. Actually, they would eliminate the fade completely. So let's go ahead and stick with the vented discs. Did that actually hurt our score? No, it helped significantly. Just kidding. Does that mean we need less rear brake in general? No, we're, like I said, pretty much nailed it. Taking some front brake out of it did indeed help, however. Went with a semi-clad setup on this one to try and get some aerodynamics out of the car. Cooling is good. And, oh yeah, there is aero on this thing. We should probably put more rear wing back on it. More of that lip on there to get some downforce in the rear at high speeds. Let's work with suspension first before we go delving into the whole interior situation. Boy, getting this thing to understeer, well, not understeer, just getting it to handle correctly shot these scores up so significantly. Think we're in pretty good shape. Would like a little bit more drivability for our sportiness, but the scores are showing really good right now. 42 in drivability, 47 in sportiness, and a 22.9 comfort. Those are all very good values. In fact, yeah, these rear-engine cars, or mid-engine cars, they're very hair trigger. You gotta be real careful with the tuning on them. Turns out no matter what I do aero-wise, it doesn't really affect anything positively, so I'm gonna go for the increased top speed of having no rear spoiler rather than having a little bit of spoiler on there and very, very minor improvements in handling. On the interior, I was on the right screen. Sport's got to be the way to go there, right? Absolutely. Definitely sport. And premium 8-track? It is a better score. Obviously, it adds a bit of weight to the car. So I think we're just going to go standard. Power steering. More than likely. Advanced safety versus standard. They actually seem to really love the advanced safety. Apparently, go figure, they want a car that is the fastest car to be produced in 1982, most likely to be something that won't kill them. Losers. Oh, skipped screen there, Cone. I wanted to see the markets. How does this thing look? Very, very handsome. Now let's put some markup on this. This is going to be a low volume car, so we're talking 40% markup, and we're still talking scores in the 120s in sport, light sport, track premium. Still talking 100 in sport budget and super. We're still talking hundreds in light sport and track, fun premium, muscle with great scores. This should be a pretty good car. Since it is a performance car, let's look at the stats here. Not something I tend to look at terribly much in this playthrough, but this is a car that I'm pretty proud of, to be honest. This is the kind of stuff we were trying to do in the Vector Automotive Challenge, but we didn't have the company around us to support building something like this. So it's fun to now be able to do stuff like this and have a company there to support this kind of project. It's very neat to see the game working in that way as well. But 169 top speed, 0 to 60 in 4.5, a quarter in 12.7. This thing's fast. It's fast and it sounds fantastic. But for those wondering, a 122.7 around the airfield test track. So, how massively screwed are we on engineering and all of this good stuff? 3 years and 2 months as of right now. Oh, that's quite some time. The part that makes me nervous about that is this car's phenomenal right now. I don't want cars to come on the market that are better by the time we get this out. So I would love to get this done in under 3 years if possible. That would be 3 years exactly right there. 3 years, 8 months on the engine. I expected that. It's hopefully choosing me. 3 years, 5 months. It's going to cost a lot of money to get that done in the 3 years we want. We'll see if we can afford it. We have a car medium plot to use, and I will. But we will need probably a car or a plot, an engine for the plots that is... Yeah, we'll go for a medium. Not going to be a very high production vehicle by any means. In fact, we'll look at the medium 3, but we might not need that. And then here, a medium 1. Let's see. How many we're producing? 209. So it would be... Yeah, that would be about the max we could push. I'm going to need to do a lot of fine-tuning with this. Boy, that even helped the scores. Unbelievable. Yep, selling real good with that 1.0. And it's a $1.4 billion project. Again, I knew it was going to be an extremely expensive project, but I really think that we could save some money on the total of this project by just making less of these things and making more of a profit between them. As of right now, a 34-month break even, but even breaking even on this project isn't super important to me. The familiarity of the new stuff on it is. If we were to go the route of making less of them with 2 medium factories instead of the large ones, very much so, or like a medium 2 and a medium 2, gets us under on the grand total and a break even of exactly 2 years of December 1987. And 87 is a pretty good year. So I think that's the way I'm going to go with this. Make less of them, charge a bunch for them, and just try and work up our familiarity with this car. Did I name it? I think I did. I don't think I did. Glad I didn't click off on it. I don't know. I'm sure we could name it after the fact, but yeah, we need to name this thing. It's gonna continue. Is it really a Roscoska? Is it too weird to go from a muscle car to an exotic car? I think it might be. To the comments. Alright, for this one I'm going with the Zoids, because an exotic car with a Z in the name, always the way to go. But we're going to call it the Zoids Vector as a little bit of a tribute here, since rest in peace Vector, that terrible attempt at a supercar manufacturer. But this is the revival. We've come full circle now. We're now able to produce the vehicles we wanted to produce. Let me make sure I didn't break anything along the way. Seems like we're good. Yep, let's sign off. And we have done a lot today. I'm going to go ahead and call it here. You're going to have to wait until next time to see how the Zoids and the Magnet Mark II do. But thank you as always for watching, and I will catch you next time.